Hi. Okay.
Today we are going to talk about heartbreak after my vaccination.
Heartbreak. How it makes me feel is essentially it makes me feel lesser than I am, and heartbreak makes me feel like I can't measure up to whatever other people's expectations of me are like. Heartbreak tends to make me feel as though I am not enough and that I never will be enough for people. And once I experience it, I usually tend to feel a lot lesser of a person than I actually am, which sucks big time.
I was very disappointed with the relationship when it first happened. But after that, I became disappointed with myself.
It broke me into a million pieces.
I feel like my whole world has collapsed and I was left in the dark.
It sort of feels like I'm stuck in a forest and like I lost my sense of direction and I keep running around in circles. So heartbreak to me felt sort of like that when I was stuck in that period of time.
I think if I were to really sum it up in one word, it would be I felt that I was unworthy of love. Yeah, if it's just one word, then I felt like I didn't deserve love, let alone any romantic relationships.
I think what heartbreak does to me is that it takes away a fundamental part of myself and makes me feel as though I am not meeting the measure.
I lived in fear of losing the ones I love.
When it first happened, there seemed to be a lot of changes that I had to make because I was forced to switch my focus to other things.
Obviously, it took a toll on my self-esteem, and in hindsight, I realized that I tend to compare myself to my peers and to a lot of other people, irrelevant people really.
I think definitely I changed a lot as a person. I think I became a lot more independent. I learned not to invest all of my emotions into one single person or one single hobby or career. I learned to put myself first, definitely.
To be honest, heartbreak changes so many things about my life in general that I think the biggest change that I experience actually comes from within. It's changes about myself and how I have a different perspective when I look at the world around me. I would say that it makes things a little more bleak, but it also puts things in a very realistic fashion.
Also, I felt like to whoever who approached me after that, it really gave me a lot of trust issues, and I wasn't able to really fully commit to one person after that for quite some time.
I would like to hope it's for the better, and my worldview changes. I tend to see people differently, I tend to experience things differently as well, and yeah, I change for the most part.
Now that everything's over, I realized that they are all for the better.
Regret not giving your ass. No, but I think my only regret was that I didn't stand up for myself enough.
I should have treated everyone else around me better.
Maybe I was just very harsh on myself back then when I was stuck in that loop that I mentioned. I think that getting stuck there turned me into a very bitter person, and it made me very negative towards all of the people and things in my life. And then I think that made me maybe treat people a bit differently, might have made me a bit more pessimistic. So I regret my emotions having influenced the people around me. Yeah.
To be honest, I try not to regret anything and any of the choices I make in my life. Whatever that I choose to do, whatever that I end up choosing to do, whatever that does happen, I want to not regret. Because it fundamentally was me at that point in time. And I want to live my life being the truest person that I can be all the time. As much as I can, at least.
Yes, I think my biggest regret is time. I wish I have spent more time with that person.
I think I should have stood up for myself more, and there are a lot more things that I tolerated then that I wouldn't tolerate right now. So I guess in a way it's also lessons learned from the past relationships, so that in the next relationship you will know what to do and what not to do.
I don't think there's any regrets because I already tried my best and it still turned out that way. So I guess it's all meant to be.
Just because things ended doesn't mean I am unable to carry forward with my life, I feel like. So I don't want to regret. Because at this point in time, I have survived and pushed forward so much thanks to these people that I've dated in the past and that I've been with. So I don't think regretting is doing myself justice for how far I've come. Therefore, I choose not to regret. Well, moving on is tricky because I don't move on, in the sense where being with people, I just don't date them any longer, but it doesn't mean that I have forgotten it completely. I just accept, I suppose, and let my experiences become a part of me. And in that sense, I don't truly move on because these people still live within me as pieces of me, in a sense.
I wouldn't say that I have completely moved on. I would say that some parts of me are still attached to the past. I would say currently I'm just in the process of learning to move on. So yeah.
I think heartbreak might be one of the toughest things for a person to really get over, and it really isn't really getting over and forgetting about it. You really just live with it, live with the heartbreak the person has caused you, and you live with it. It will be like an open wound turned into a scar, and then whenever you think about it, when it doesn't hurt anymore, and you'll be like, I have learned from it, I have grown from it. So you can't really forget about it. You don't really get over it. So you just learn to live with it.
It took me a lot of patience, a lot of time, and mostly a lot of self-discovery. But when I realized that I am at a place where I am 100% comfortable with myself, I know that I moved on.
I think self-love helps me a lot because being sad and angry is a very tiring thing, and we should never let ourselves be in that situation for too long. So I choose to move on.
How did I move on? I think really when it comes to moving on, I feel like time is the only thing. Like, I think what's important, like the only thing that we can do, because time is gonna pass, you can't control time. So I feel like the only thing that I can do in my position back then was to allow myself to take time, because I feel like when I was stuck in that loop of heartbreak, I feel like I was trying too hard to get out of it. I didn't allow myself the time to properly heal or just accept it as what it is. I feel I was rushing to get out of that loop, and then I feel like that only made things worse. So I think that just being able to give yourself that time to, you know, having that faith that things will eventually get better is very important. So just giving yourself that time and knowing that things will get better soon. I think that those are the only two things that you can do when your heart is broken. Yeah.
Moving forward, I just know what to seek out for, what to look out for, what do I want in another person, all of these things. And yeah, that's the most that I try to do. That's how I quote unquote move on. But nobody truly ever does move on, do they?